Right. Morning, everyone. Welcome to McBoss Capital live stream here. My name is Michael Chu. Today is Monday, August 4th, 2025. So this is the second session of August, and this is at this moment is 9:17 a.m. Mountain Time. About 1.5 hours, actually 1 hours and 45 minutes around there into the market. The market is actually acting very strong today. Um, you can see Nasdaq up 1.48%, Dow is up 1% S&P is up 1.16%, and the only problem is, like, surprisingly, the Nasdaq volume and NYSE volume is very low today. Um, so with that being said, um, I'm not sure if I trust this bounce because of this, because the volume is so much lower. So that's something to pay attention to. Because typically, the stock bouncing is a good thing, especially from what happened on Thursday and Friday. We have a very bad market. Let's just jump to that right now. QQQ here. So we have a very downside reversal outside trading range on Thursday. So that was very negative. And then Friday we followed through with that. Now the market definitely oversold in such a short 2 day uh, negative momentum. So that is happening. Um, so that's the negative part. But today, we bounce back. So we do expect it to bounce because we are so oversold in the 2 days. So today it bounced back, as you can see, on at least on QQQ, it looks like it's just bouncing back to the 10-day. So, obviously, the slope of the downtrend from Thursday and Friday is not sustainable, right there, because it's so steep, right? So now it bounced back. Okay, now we have if you draw the channel line here, now you have a slope, but it is still very steep, right? Like this is a pretty steep slope. I mean, this is like a 60-degree angle still. So what I'm trying to say is, this bounce obviously is a good thing. It's a first step to recovery. But with that being said, I need to see more evidence that this is going to continue tomorrow and the day after. Now, you know, usually a better slope will be like 45-degree angle. When it surpass that will be much better. But like I said, today it's just a normal reaction to bounce back because we were so oversold so fast. And the volume here is very concerning on the sell side. And then today's buying volume is so low. Again, this is something to consider. I think, again, I'm not saying, it can move up more. Some of the stocks probably going to keep moving up a little bit more before it top. But this is very concerning in terms of the volume and the price action too. So again, too early to tell whether we are on a V-shaped rebound, and I just think today is just a normal reaction. Anyone trying to short this market, got pounced today, and so that's what happened. Let's jump to SPY. Very similar. You see, it just comes straight back to the 10-day, just below it, slightly. Very similar action right now. So the true range is right, as far as I can see right now from the highs and lows on Thursday and Friday. Now you can see this is the true range. We are back in the middle range, middle point. So it's considered neutral, right? The bears and bulls are fighting right now, and today the bulls are winning, at least short term. So we'll see. But the long term trend, like I said, is still there. So this is the slope right now. It's very steep. So the momentum is still more on the downside. Let's go to Dow. Okay, this one, Dow is probably the weakest right now. It bounced back. It found a little bit of support on the 50-day. And you can see the range of this is much wider compared to S&P and Nasdaq. And we are not even near the 10-day right now. See, we are like, still quite, not that far, but it's not that close either. So that's a problem. Let's just look at intraday here. I still have a very strong momentum right now today. So the last thing you want to see today is the market give back a lot of gains, because that just tells me, you know, if Dow closed at today's, like, even though it doesn't close like really down a lot, even if it gives up all the gains since this morning, that is a very negative sign. Like I would be, so I'm net short right now, so I will be adding to my short if that continues. Um, so again, this is a downslope line. Now this downslope line is a little bit better than S&P and Nasdaq, because it's been going on for a while now, and so the slope is probably 50-degree, a little bit still a little bit steep, but it looks a lot better. So if this one trust back here, I would trust this bounce a little bit more. IWM, very similar chart. Yeah, it's not really near the 10-day as well. It's still quite far away. So this is a normal reaction as well. Let's look at intraday. This one still, again, if it give back like the intraday low, that would be negative, right? Even if it closed positive today, because of the gap up, right? The gap up is very tiny here. So that's another interesting thing. So yeah, like gap up is important, um, only in the sense of pre-market, right? But what happens during the trading session is more important, because you have lots of time, right? Like throughout the whole day, you have lots of time for any market participant to participate, right? So you know, so to me, I trust the action in the day more than pre-market action, right? So that's what I'm trying to say here. So anyhow, yeah. So if this comes back down, like to me, that is super negative. I'll be adding to my shorts. So Dow and Russell is the two other two that are kind of more negative. Now, with that being said, let's just look at IBD Innovator 50 here, because this is the representation of growth stocks. So this is fairly good action. So we have Thursday reversal, Friday. The good thing about Friday here is it found support, and and it bounced back all the way to the 21 day, and then today we followed through. Now, are we still in a downtrend? Yes, we are still in a downtrend. But this slope looked a little bit better because of the huge bounce today. So it looked a little bit better, meaning like at least it's closer to 45-degree angle. Um, Again, there's risk reward for when you take risk, there's always more reward as well, right? So do you trust the bounce today on growth stocks? If you buy it here and this thing breaks out to new high, then you're gonna profit. But if this thing breaks down, then again you're gonna have to manage your risk and maybe take today's low as your cut loss point. So again, there's always different risk reward ratio. Um, so it depends, right? Like how you want to manage that. So, but to me, this is a good bounce today, because it bounced back on Friday and then today it followed through, right? Like because if Friday closed at the low, I don't know if I trust this bounce as much, but because it did bounce back and then it followed through, it gives me more hope that it could work. At least short term, it might work. Um, but again, we're still in a downtrend, so today's close will be important. Like this morning, either you buy really early in the morning so that you don't have to buy the stock at a higher price. If you're buying it right now, I think most stocks are already up quite a bit, so it's kind of late now. Um, because as the day goes on, the question is this gonna give back, right? That's the key question. Is this gonna come back down? I don't know. No one knows. But and with today's volume so low, I really doubt stocks can go much higher. If volume was higher, it means that there's more participants, right? But because the volume is so low today, I don't really trust this bounce, and I don't trust that the stocks can continue higher throughout the day. At that in that case, right? Now I could be wrong, but I'm just saying that's how I would trade based on the data I see right now. All right, so Now, if it does hold throughout the whole day, and it closed strong, even if it doesn't make new high, I think that's still a good risk. Like there's, you could get into some of the stocks, right? Especially if they're more near like traditional buy points and stuff. But if they're really extended, I don't know if I can get into those. But that's again, it's all risk reward, right? Obviously, the high flying stocks would have, can go up a lot more, and stuff like that. So it all depends on what you like to trade. Okay, so let's look at any news this morning. I mean, is this today? Let me see. August 4th. Yes, that is today. So the big caps are still moving here. Let's look at Microsoft and Nvidia. So Microsoft pulled back really hard after the gap up. It gave back a pretty big portion here, but it did find support, today from the bounce. It gap up, and so this is a good, you know, risk reward because it already tested the support, right, near the 10 days. So this would be an example. If I were to get in, this would be one stock that is at least from a risk reward standpoint because it found support right here. It's a possible test, right? And you can easily, for me, I would usually set this low here as my cut loss point because if it does come back down, like I say, I wouldn't want to. I would be more negative. I would be shorting instead of buying. But that's the thing, we don't know, right? Like, but if you were to get in, I rather wait till the end of the day. If I want to trade this market, I'd rather wait till the end of the day because, like I said, I think most of the gains already happened today, and with the volume so much lower, um, it's hard for this to continue to go up throughout the day because there's just not volume to support that. But the risk is more like whether it will come back down. So anyhow, that's what I'll be watching today. If this is a true rebound, it should close near the top like this. Like it should close where we are right now. Instead of let's say it come back down and even if it closed higher today, but it closed at the bottom of the range, then I'll be quite skeptic for sure about this bounce today. Let's go to look at Nvidia. Very similar action on Nvidia. I think a lot of stock charts are very similar at this point. They all had this huge reversal on Thursday, and then some of them have this bounce on Friday, and then today we have a kind of like a follow-through bounce based on Friday's support. So again, if you draw the channel line, we're still in a downtrend just based on those 3 days, but anything can happen. I don't want to say that, oh, I'm pricing in that the market will go down. No, I don't know. I have no idea. I'm actually more, I'm net short, but that doesn't mean I'm heavily shorted, right? I'm just a little bit shorted right now. I rather just stay on the sideline and observe this market. Another thing that's still happening is so much earnings hasn't come out yet, especially for a lot of growth stocks. So this week we'll see lots of growth stocks start to report, and then also next week. Last week was a lot of mega caps. Um, so still early to see where the tech stocks, some of the AI stocks, Palantir is reporting today. So that's a big one because there's such an AI stock that everyone's watching this. I know Microsoft reported they did well on AI stuff and cloud. Maybe this will do well, right? But who knows? Because last Friday, was it Friday or Thursday? The U.S. defense consolidate all the contracts for Palantir and actually like no one knows what the final outcome is, but who knows? That could shrink their contract size. I have no idea. Um, so we'll see what they forecast, right? So that'll be a very important thing. Let's see what other news there are. Tesla. I mean Tesla is just stuck in this long-term trading downtrend line here. I talk about this almost every day, like how it just can't pass through this line every time it comes near it. And right now we're trading near the lows. Again, look at this reversal today already. That so this is exactly what you don't want to see in today's market. If you have a stock that gap up right here, even though it's a small gap up, goes up and comes back, not only undercut the low, and actually now trading near Friday's close. And if you draw another line down here, it's not that far from making another low. So this is not good. So this is exactly a good example of what not to see today in any stock. Um, so we have Disney, Boeing, I think. Okay. Okay, Shopify on semiconductor reported. So let's take a look here. It looks like Shopify. No, it hasn't reported yet. Let me see. Does it say reported? No, it didn't say reported. It just say um. No, yeah, it didn't say anything about reporting here. Just talking about the stock moving. So this one is bouncing back a little bit. It's not on my list because of the second quarter. So we'll see what the earnings look like in 2 days. So lots of growth stocks are going to be reporting, and to me, that's very important. The problem is, like look at on semiconductor. This is also not on my list, but you can see it's another chip stock, and look at this. It's just giving up now, right? Like 50-day line. The biggest problem I've seen so far in this earnings result is how stocks are giving up their 50-day line, like when they miss on earnings. Like it almost like everybody just give up. Like this shouldn't happen for any institution quality stock. If this happens, it means that like institutions are really getting out because 50-day is their key line for many institutions. So I'm seeing so many growth stocks doing this that I feel like we're gonna have a bad like going forward the next 2 weeks with so many growth stocks reporting. I think we might have a bad market because of this. Because normally it'll bounce, it'll cut down to the 50-day and then bounce back. So it's still too early to say whether this will bounce back, but it doesn't look good today, right? So anyhow, so that's something to keep in mind about something like that. Um, MLM trade desk here, they're rising. Berkshire reported MLM here, big boost here. It's lower on the third quarter, but overall it looks healthy right now. A nice chart pattern. TTD trade desk. This one also pretty weak guidance for the next few quarters. So, but it is bouncing today. So many stocks are bouncing today. Some of them to new highs or at least new recent highs. So that's a good. Like the market still has some momentum. The bulls hasn't give up yet. So like I said, if you manage your risk, it is possible to trade. But for me, I said earlier, I feel like I'd rather wait till end of the day and see how the market finished today. EINR also moving today. The funny thing is, okay, so this one reported, I understand, is it moves today because it reported, um, but some stocks are moving without any report, and they're moving kind of late. Is what I'm trying to say, right? Like you know, let's say for example, trade desk, right? Let's go back here. Let's say pull back here and then bounce today, hit new high. MLM pull back here and then hit new high. I guess some of this have been setting up, but it's just a lagging, right? It hasn't been moving the whole rally. So that's another thing that has been happening for over a month now, the last month, 6 weeks, is stocks that are rally since April, those were really strong. A lot of them have kind of, top on last Thursday. Whether they can make new highs again, I don't know. But now we're starting to see a lot of these lagged stocks coming out, right? Like this stocks hasn't done anything for so long, and then it comes out, right? So it's just to me, it almost feel like this is the last momentum left, right? Anyhow, just want to talk about that for a second here because I don't usually see these names move, right? So I was like, oh, what's happening? Um, Spotify is moving today because they increased their price for subscription. Now here, this is a good example of the downtrend here. Let me draw it again. Here's the downtrend right here. So today it bounced back about 10-day, but guess what? Because the pullback has already happened for so long, now the 10 days below the 21 day. And the 21 days is this red line I just drew right there. So to me, it's still in a downtrend. Just again, I wouldn't be buying this today, even if it closed where it is today, because it's still in a downtrend. I'd rather see it, go back up above very decisively. And now we have 50-day become another resistance level here. So there's two levels here to pass through before I'm more certain that this bounce could work. Um, and that's that. So we have Figma. This is a new IPO. Look at this today. Wow, it's coming back. So this is a bit bad reversal on Friday, and today we're coming back. Like it's already coming close. I think it opened at around 7. Right? I can't remember. But it just shows how volatile IPOs are. 84 was the open low actually low. It actually opened. You didn't see what it opened at, but anyhow, um, we're gonna get a lot more earnings coming up. I think that's it for the news today. There's not too much news on the Monday morning. So again, Palantir is a big one. Let's look at some of the stocks in the move here. Uh, Here's on the downside. Lately I don't usually look at the downside when the market is in a rally mode. But lately I've been looking at the downside because I want to see how severe some of those stocks are correcting when they miss earnings. So Twist, this was on my list. I don't know if I traded, maybe I traded right here very briefly. This one's totally giving up right now. On today's earnings came out. So this is, again, when stocks miss, they not only come down, but they're breaking way below the 50-day. This is a big problem. Um, so that's a problem. Yeah. Anyhow, so let's jump back on up on the price. Um, so we have 20 stocks here. Again, we still see good momentum. The volume, almost 2 hours in, is still pretty high on at least on the growth stock side. So that's good. So gold is leading the charge today. GFI, GFI, right here. Nice breakout. I think gold is a good trade. If I were to trade right now, I think gold is a good trade because I'm seeing lots of gold stocks breaking out. If I go look at the bullion gold GLD, it actually hasn't break out yet. But the gold stocks are leading the chart. See, this is still within the range here of this base, but gold field has already broken out. So again, I like the momentum and the strength. Look at this RS rating. Look at how much it jumped. So this is really strong. There is other ones here. Let me just see if I can find it. AU, AEM, Barrick. Now most of this has reported as well, so you don't have the risk of earnings. Um, so this is another good bounce. Look at this, making new high, just slightly, but still making new high. AEM. This one also reported. So again, you don't face the risk of earnings no more. So again, this one breaking to new highs. So these stocks are breaking out to new highs even before the gold bullion, which is, I'm not saying it's unusual, but usually it doesn't happen. Like usually they break out at the same time, but this time the gold stocks are actually leading. So which is very interesting. Um, so that's some of the gold stocks. I think I go back on the list. There's Barrick Mining, EGO, KGC. Those are good ones. They all reported too. So like EGO just reported. So this one hasn't broke out yet, but getting pretty close. KGC, this one broke out, new high. Again, earnings already reported. No, you don't have to face that risk anymore. Um, so yeah, very strong. Gold stocks are leading the charge right now. And so gold is kind of like a good thing because in today's today market jump, it went up. And one market sometimes go down, but gold still go up because maybe gold will hedge recession risk. And so it's kind of a good for both ends right now. Of course, sometimes gold will pull back, and that's the problem with the gold bullion is that it was stuck in this range for a long time now, right? It goes up to this line, boom, comes back down. Goes up to this line, boom, comes back down. Right? Right now we're heading back to that line, and it could come back down again, right? But what I'm trying to say is gold stocks are actually breaking out. So to me, um, that that I feel stronger in that sense that this could work this time. Anyhow, okay. So that's gold. Let's keep going here. Reddit, really strong performer. It's probably if you follow my market video on the weekend, let me just look at where Reddit ranked in terms of stocks based on earnings. Ranked right here, number 7 or so. Yeah, pretty strong. And so this has really taken off after the earnings. So that was your buy point right there. And then I mean it gaps up. Now it's falling through. It's a little bit extended, but the good thing is it's still in the base. So it could still have a long way to go to break out. So there's still room to run is what I'm trying to say. Okay, let's keep going here. I see TMDX. Some of these don't have the strongest earnings, but they're moving. So like WDLDN has been strong mover. DB, HGI. This is aerospace defense is one of the strongest group. With all countries like arming up. Like this is a strong um area. This one doesn't have. Let me see here. No, this one have strong earnings. This is actually incorrect. This number here. It does have strong earnings and it's breaking out today. If you look at ITA, the ETF for aerospace defense, we had a pullback recently and today it's bouncing. So again, if you don't want to buy stocks, you just want to buy the whole group. This is an ETF you can buy. And if you trust this bounce today, then this could be breaking out soon. So that's another strong stock there. Power is reported last week, and it looks like it's falling through. So that's another good sign of some of these growth stocks is that they're falling through on their earnings move. So usually sometimes it comes back right away, but so far they're all been falling through, and because they're not that far from the breakout zone, and they have room to run. They have room to run. It's possible it can go to much higher here. Let's keep going here. Meta report earnings last year. It's not the strongest fundamental, but it is a strong move. Another one that's falling through, right? Right. So the earnings, like again, I'm looking at the absolute numbers. People are looking at maybe from an estimate standpoint, what analysts estimate. But yeah, it pulled back here after the earnings gap up, and today it found support, right? Very similar to Microsoft. So it's working. And then we have F5, ALA, Sterling, AMD still going. MTZ, yeah, MTZ. I think let's take a look here. This is in building heavy construction. So this one has a bad earnings. So so this is not exactly what you don't want to see. Is how it tries to bounce back, right? Look, it goes up to the 10-day exactly right there, the green line, and then it reverses. So today, if you have stocks that came up to the 10-day and reverse, and look at this, it's trading near the bottom range, right? If it breaks through that bottom, we're gonna see lots of selling come in. Probably a lot of people will put their stop right there. So things to watch out for. Food 2 AU. We already talked about gold. Uh, Fox Corp, TTMI. So let's go back to some of the lists I looked at this morning. Okay, so we have app. These are stocks that have been running. Not app hasn't run at all, but it's trying to come out, right? It's trying to. It's looking for support. The problem with this stock is just not like other stocks where they move. Like Reddit, it come out and it start moving. Like this one has tried so many times, it just always come back to the 10 day, and it's reporting in 2 days. So I don't. I think the risk is pretty high actually for this stock if it missed. Palantir trying to make new high, but it couldn't. Like I don't know what's wrong with it. It's is having second doubt, like it's already pulling back this morning already. So again, this is not a good sign. So things to watch for. Um, Let me look at Credo. Credo is probably the strongest stock in this rally on my list, and it pulled back Thursday, Friday, like many things. But look at how Friday it closed near the 10, above the 10-day. Today it falling through. So far it's holding up. So we'll see. Momentum. This one also pulled back one day here on Friday, and it's still above 10-day moving average on Friday. It closed above it. Today it's kind of stuck in the middle right now. So it's we'll see if it can hold. I think the key point today is, can stocks hold today, the growth stocks. So it's still trading in the middle, so it's okay. Google. So Google, obviously a strong Google recently after earnings. It was holding up and then it gave up that low here. So that's the only negative right there, is it gave up that support level. Now it didn't crash, it didn't fall through on the downside because of the market today. So we'll see if it can hold today though. That's important. So again, key theme today will be whether stocks can hold today. Let me go back to my list here. There's other stocks, and I'm not gonna go through them. EXTR, Net, Reddit, Spotify, we're talking about. So those are the tech stocks. On the retail side, we have CCL and GLW moving. Let's see how they're performing right now. Well, this one also pulled back. So see, this is the negative thing that I really don't like to see. Like this is a very good example how on Friday it gave up so much of movement, right? It took like I don't know 3-4 weeks here going sideways, which is positive because they're just you have a strong uptrend. It went sideways, it's consolidating, building a base, and then you have this. Like I just don't like that. Like it give up so easily for like within one day, right? We went from a high to the low and undercut all the lows, right? Um, of course, today again is near the 10-day, like most stocks are. It's positive, at least near term is positive, but I just don't like what happened recently. Um, so anyhow, so I just want to talk about that. GLW holding up really strong. I mean, this is incredible. It gap up here instead of coming down, it kind of goes sideways, and today it it just continues again. Like and it's still quite a bit above 10 days, so it's definitely a little bit extended. But that's how you know it's a strong stock because they just don't want to come back down to the green line right here. It just doesn't want to come back down. But in normal behavior is that it will come back down to 10-day or near it and then bounce. But this one, it just doesn't want to come down. All right. So we are seeing some really strong growth stocks, especially the ones like this one that has reported already. On the industrial commercial side, we see CLS. Let's go to it. This has been a leader for a while now. Looks like so this one pulled back to near the 10-day and then bounce. It didn't want to close at the bottom on Friday. So now it's falling through a little bit. And again, this is coming back down a little bit. Very important that it can hold. So we'll see what happens. ESLT, this one is doing a really strong movement today, breaking out right now. So stocks like this are not too extended, breaking out. I mean, again, you manage your risk if you want to get in. It found support on here on Friday. Look at where it closed. It just bounced off the 10-day, closed at the top. Today it followed through. This is the kind of action I like to see. Another aerospace defense stock, very strong sector. This group is very strong. Okay, let's keep going. With HEI here, MYE, MVT, these are really strong stocks that has reported. Symbolic hasn't reported yet, but it's 2 days in 2 days. But this one, strong uptrend. Recently, just found support 21-day twice now. It's holding above the 10-day. Getting close to the top here, so maybe new high maybe, but hasn't quite yet. But again, that's the problem, right? There's lots of growth stocks that haven't reported yet still. So there's risk there. On the health side, some newer names on my list, ALNY, ATAC, those have starting to move. So this one really taken off now. Uh, it's trading tight here again. Yeah, if you follow these stocks, like probably most people don't. So ATAC is another one. They just falling through, like moving. That's the problem right now. Stocks that are moving, they're moving so fast. I mean, there's like if you miss the first day or even second day, you are way extended compared to the 10-day moving average. So that's the problem right now. I feel, it's like really chasing is what I'm trying to say. Like if you don't chase, and if you chase too much, you are really extended. You're buying quite extended too. So lots of risks right now. I feel, even if I want to trade it, it's just too hard to get into at the right price. Here's Hims. Hims has been trying to break support, so it didn't make a new high though today compared to Friday. So there's a little bit of risk there. KNSA. This is a newer name. I talked about this last Friday. It's house tight here, and then it bounce out, make new high, and then it is reversing a little bit today, but considering it make new high is pretty good still. And then we have RMD. So health have been beaten quite a bit, right? Like many health stocks have been beaten up, but these are some of the few ones that recently report earnings and are moving after that. So it's falling through. RMD is falling through as well. So the reason why I'm watching the stocks, even though I'm not trading them right now, is because they could be the next new leaders in the next rally. When that happens, I don't know, because we are probably near the end of this rally cycle. Short term, I don't know. That's my take on it. I don't know for sure. We already talked about gold. The only one that's not gold here is GEV. GEV reported really strong, continues its run. It found support on Friday. Today it reversed a little bit. It didn't make new high, but came close to it. So we'll see how this holds up. That goes with those energy alternative stocks there. On the financial side, we're seeing some movement as well. Affirm. This one is bouncing back. Again, I don't like this chart because how Friday it give up so easily, but it did close near the top of the range. Um, let's keep going here. So this one hasn't reported yet. AMG, this one's Finance Investment Management. This one gave up quite a bit, but it bounced back really strong today. So another name. This is probably smaller, less liquid. Iron. So this is Bitcoin related. This is not a good chart. The bounce is quite weak, right? Like for a stock like this, it probably should have bounced more. I mean, 4% is it's not it's probably a usual range for a bounce, but it's just with such a strong day today in the market, you think Bitcoin um, related stocks have a bigger bounce, but probably the main price is not going up too much. This is GBTC, so it's still under the 10-day. So I don't know. It's possible the Bitcoin stocks have and Bitcoin itself have topped. Um, look at CISO. CISO is trying to come up right here, fell, here, fell, and now it's trying again. Now the good side is the bottom channel line is sloping up, which means it's making higher lows, right? That's the only good thing about this right now. But it might take more time to consolidate. It could happen. But the slope is getting better. Look at this slope now. It's more like you know on the downside is much less, right? Like it's less than 45 degree now. So so if it does break out, it probably above that channel line, it probably a good thing. It probably could work. Toes trying to bounce back again here. Again, I don't like how it gives up, you know, 9 sessions of trading in one day. I don't like that. Okay, let's look at the last one here. Upstart. Um, yeah, look at that. It doesn't bounce back much. It's still under the 10-day. So today we see a lot of stocks. In summary, we see a lot of stocks bounce back to the 10-day. Some of them even making new high. Those are the stronger ones, obviously. But there's also a lot that are not making it back to the 10-day. So, and again, look at the volume. Like there's no volume support here on this one. Check out the volume because that's a good sign whether, because even when the stock bounce back from a dead cat bounce, they call it, if there's volume, you trust it more, right? Because there's buyers coming in with volume. But if there's not that much volume, it means, you know, prices are going up, maybe due to shorts or whatever. So anyhow, I'm going to do one last quick check on the index here. Okay, so it's looking pretty strong. It's at the highs right now. So this is good, at least for QQQ here. So we'll see. That looks really good right now. SPY, it probably will break to new high. Okay, look at SPY. It's making new intraday high, so that's good. So those two are doing really well. Let's look at Dow. Dow is coming closer to new high, so that also looks healthy. Um, okay, IWM is making new high at this moment, so that's also healthy. So um, I have no idea whether today is a dead cat bounce or not. But you gotta trust the momentum. The index are still moving, and there's still stocks that are moving, so they can still work. So yeah, let's see. So we just started this week again. Lots of earnings will come out that will change the market direction easily. Um, Thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe.